Welcome, everyone, to the Fandom Podcast Network here on, the Fandom Podcast Network. And we are Couch Potato Theater, where we celebrate our favorite movies. I'm Kevin. I'm going to be your host, and we are discussing Couch Potato Theater, Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, a little bit of warning here, adult language and content warning, as we are talking about a rated R film. So I want to give everyone a heads up there. But before I continue, I should probably bring on the fellow Deadpool cast I got going on here from the Void. They might be feeling a certain way. And I'm going to bring on my best friend for many, many, many years. And also probably the biggest Deadpool fan I know. And he can't keep his arms up that much longer. So I'm going to bring in my buddy, Kat. What's going on, buddy? Nice tattoo you got there.
Let's fucking go.
There Deadpool we go. Wolverine.
Yes.
Good
now
intro. Kat, how long have I known you? 40 years? Something like that?
September 4th, 1984, 9:05 a.m. So
40 years.
40 years.
So, I told you we were going to be doing this podcast, and that I couldn't do it without you. You came in on our True Believers reaction show to the original film.
Oh, yeah.
And when this movie was doing such good traction and there was so much hype about it, and it was one of the most well-hyped and well-promoted films of all time, I started thinking, man, we got to do a Couch Potato Theater of this. Normally, we do this for older films. So I'm going to bring on my co-founder of the Fandom Podcast Network, have a little more discussion about this. Kyle, what's up, buddy? I told you we need to do a Couch Potato Theater sooner than later on this.
You will address me as Marvel Jesus, first of all.
Sorry, Marvel Jesus.
No, in fact, this is kind of a first for Couch Potato Theater. This is an instant potato Couch Potato Theater. Usually what we like to do here is take a movie. It's about at least 10 years old, right, Kevin?
Yeah.
It's gotta have had some time to percolate. Maybe
like we did John Wick recently and Live, Die, Repeat, all 10 years old. We haven't done one sooner than that, though.
Yeah, but we try to do that. But the reason for the aging is, a lot of these are movies that we watched on cable a lot, or maybe more recently in streaming or something like that. But this is the first movie we've done that's not even a year old. But because it was so good, it was kind of a big return to the movies after the strike and COVID. And Kat and the other guests we have on probably made threats to both of us at different points about doing this. We decided, we needed an instant potato Couch Potato Theater, and what better way to kick it off with a little Deadpool and Wolverine.
Well, speaking of other guests, here is our co-host of Time Warp here on the Fandom Podcast Network, where we look at an entire year of movies. And this is also the queen of movie foo, Lacey Adderhold, or as she's going by, the Muted Pants Pool. You're muted there, Lacey.
She's still muted.
It's really hot in there. Whew.
For the listeners, she had on the Deadpool mask and she was struggling.
I did. I was struggling, and Kyle was talking about stuff, and I was like, "Oh my god, I can't breathe."
Now you know how I feel when I wear my Deadpool mask.
Well, let's get right into this, guys. We, of course, are discussing Deadpool and Wolverine, and of course, another warning: adult language and content. We are discussing, of course, an R-rated film here on the Fandom Podcast Network, Deadpool and Wolverine. But as we also like to let you guys know, we have some other Couch Potato Theaters that we've recently done. And we did start off in the summertime here. We re-released our original Couch Potato Theater, Deadpool. Came out in 2016. Kat, we had you on for that. And we also did Couch Potato Theater, Deadpool 2. That was a lot of fun, Kat.
That was. How come we didn't do a Couch Potato for Deadpool 2.5 with the PG-13 version?
You know what? That might actually be a fun Christmas option since it came out during Christmas later that year. So yeah, that's a good option there. But we did talk about the differences between those films there.
Would we be able to do a Deadpool though without actually saying "fuck"? I mean, we're allowed one.
Could.
We're allowed one.
For PG-13, we're allowed one. But Lacey,
say it though.
We should do it on Fred Savage's birthday.
Oh, hey, that's a good idea.
There are rules.
As I've mentioned before, we have some other Couch Potato Theaters that we want to celebrate and bring to your attention. We did Live, Die, Repeat. aka Edge of Tomorrow, and we celebrating the re-releases of Cameron's movies on 4K, and one of the ones that we did was True Lies, 1994. We also just released The Abyss. Make sure you check that out. That came out in 4K. I also had my hair metal friends on for the Couch Potato Theater Spinal Tap, celebrating its 40th anniversary. We also continue with the Cameron movies. We did Couch Potato Theater Terminator, celebrating its 40th anniversary. And we also did Aliens 1986 and the Aliens Expanded documentary that came out. We did that. It was a great show there. And we also did Johnny Dangerously, celebrating its 40th anniversary. And our Christmas pick, done by our wonderful Lacey, we did Couch Potato Theater, The Long Kiss Goodnight. Now, we are in 2025, and one of the things we're going to be doing a Couch Potato Theater on, so we're going to be celebrating the 1980s canon film retrospective. And the first one that we're going to be doing, because we're going to be talking about some classic canon action films like of course, Invasion USA, Bloodsport, Cobra, Firewalker, Master of the Universe. But as Lacey's holding up there, American Ninja double feature coming very, very soon. So make sure you check that out. But we are here to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. Let's fucking go! Guys, we had some fun posters celebrating this movie. I'm showing them here on the YouTube channel. So if you're listening to this podcast, make sure you check out this slideshow we have going on here. But let's talk about the movies. And, normally when we do this, I ask you guys, when and where did you first see this? But before I do that, because it was obviously very recently, let's do the IMDb, sometimes on, possibly vague, not always spot on plot description. And that goes, a listless Wade Wilson toils away in civilian life with his days as a morally flexible mercenary, Deadpool behind him. But when his homeworld faces an existential threat, Wade must reluctantly suit up again, and even more with a reluctant Wolverine. Kat, this seems pretty spot on, would you say?
Spot on was not a word I would probably use. It was fucking amazing.
As Lacey would say, that's a good elevator pitch, though, right?
If you got 45 seconds, that's what you get.
So this movie was released July 26, 2024. Ran for 128 minutes, a little over 2 hours, of course. Budget was $200 million, probably more for advertising and marketing. Lacey, you are holding up the 4K Blu-ray with digital, just like I have here. Yep. But it made $1.338 billion in the movie theaters all around the world. Now, I want to ask you where you watched it, because it was recently. But I did want to kind of start off with something first, guys. Before we talk about where we saw it, there was an amazing build up to this. And they did it a very clever thing. Because when they were releasing trailers, you didn't see like the very spoilerific ones until closer to the release date. And so I think they started in China first, Kyle, and then kind of went around to like South America. And then you started seeing other cast members starting to join them. What were your thoughts on the early, like, behemoth rush of the promotion of this film?
Well, to be honest, I mean, the promotion of this film started well before that. Wrong cup. Just saying, wrong cup.
It's Wolverine. I'm drinking out of my Wolverine cup.
Like, again,
Deadpool and Wolverine.
You have Pants Pool, me, and Cat Pool here. We're a little outnumbered there. Wolverine. They got the wrong Wolverine again. Damn it.
Better.
But
anyway, Kat, or Kyle.
No, I mean, Ryan Reynolds started this with a little bit of teasing Hugh Jackman into this way back in Deadpool 1. And when they finally got this going, I mean, it's one of the greatest movie marketing campaigns of the modern era. I mean, it reminded me of like the old school Batman and Jurassic Park campaigns where it was everywhere. And the thing is those two are so likable. And they got Blake Lively involved, the cast involved. You had the pull of them being in the MCU for the first time, so you had that. And they just play. Ryan Reynolds is a marketing genius. genius. Let's be honest. The man is a business genius, and it showed with this whole thing here. Without any question.
Kat, when we were doing the original Deadpool and Deadpool 2 podcast and stuff, and you've been on our show, we've done Moon Knight with you and stuff like that, but Deadpool is your guy.
Mm-hmm.
What is your memory of the promotion of this when, first of all, we were finally getting it? Because remember, there was that funny video that Ryan Reynolds put out, and he's like, hey guys,
I'm sure it was Ryan Reynolds. We're not sure. It's wonderful.
But no, hold on. He's sitting down, and there's some staircases behind him, and he's like, and then Hugh Jackman walks by, and goes, "Hey, you want to suit up as Wolverine again?" He's like, "All right, Ryan, whatever." Give me your thoughts on the build-up that we did finally get confirmed that Hugh Jackman was going to return.
So when they started doing prior to the actual releases of those, and they were doing the talking about it, he's like, You're like, come on, you got to do it, man. It's freaking Wolverine. You are Wolverine. Give me fucking Wolverine. And when they showed that one video with Ryan just sitting on the couch, like you said, and he goes, hey, Hugh, you want Wolverine again? He's like, yeah, sure, Ryan. It's like, yeah, fucking lost it. You're like, yes! Give me the movie. And then, of course, we had to wait for the movie, so here it is.
That was a pretty impressive marketing campaign.
Oh, he's like Kyle said, he's a genius.
Yeah. Oh, your thoughts on the marketing campaign?
Oh, me?
Yes, you, Lacey.
Hello.
That's why you're bigger in the screen right now.
I was very confused. Okay. It's interesting. I think that the one thing that I saw was just the same video we're talking about, where he's sitting on the couch, and I was very lucky because I managed to avoid everything else. Once I knew that the third one was going to be Wolverine.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I arrived like 30 seconds before the actual movies. I didn't watch a trailer for like 2 years at the movie theater. I would arrive like 25 minutes after the movie started so I could walk in right as the opening credits were going. So yeah, it's become a nice habit though, because I don't want to watch any trailers. I know if I'm going to see a movie.
Right. Well, let's get into that part of the podcast right now, is how we saw it, because I want to tie that into the marketing campaign of what we saw in the theater, because you could say that year of 2024 was the year of the popcorn bucket. There was a lot of big tentpole movies, and the popcorn bucket was a way to try to get people to come back to the theaters to see these films. And of course, one of them here I'm holding up is, of course, the Wolverine one himself. This was the first one that we were teased about, of course. And then, of course, this one right here, the floating head one, the head pool. Is that what we're calling this one?
That's what his name is. Yeah, Headpool.
Voiced by Nathan Fillion himself. And then, of course, you've got... Then you got, of course, the cool cups. I'm drinking out of my Wolverine one.
The wrong one.
So, yeah.
He's that one so that he can leave the Deadpool one fresh and pristine.
Well, this one's mine. I can soil this one. So anyway, so let me get your experience of actually seeing it in the theater. Kat, want to start with you?
AMC theater first show, because apparently my theater did not inform us that we're having a midnight show, and I
remember
asked them, and they said, "No, we're not having one." I'm like, "Okay, I'll just see it the next day opening." And when I went to see it opening day first show, IMAX, not 3D, but just IMAX, that Dolby Surround special sound with the shaking chairs and all that stuff. I asked them, I said, "Did you guys have a midnight show?" They're like, "Oh yeah, we did." I'm like, "I asked you guys. You said we weren't going to do it," which is why I missed out on.
Never believe a lonely person who doesn't make a lot of money working there that's the truth, because it's going to happen.
Yeah, well, I used to do that job, remember?
Me too.
Was that K? I don't see that K.
Very well, very well.
Anyhow, so yeah, IMAX, Dolby Surround Sound, high definition. Yep, I saw it twice in a row in the same theater. I didn't leave. I'm like, I'm not leaving until this is going to be done, and then I'm going to watch it again. And I did.
How many times did you see it in the theater?
In the theater, 13.
That beats me. Okay, so Lacey, how did you see it in the theater?
I have a Regal pass, so I can see as many movies every day as I want to see, and I did. I saw it the night before it came out, and then that was at Regal, and then the next day I remember being on like the hunt for the popcorn buckets because everybody was like, "Oh, we don't have popcorn buckets. We can't find them." And so I ended up I got the ones from Regal the night before, but the ones from AMC I had to. It was a whole thing. But so that was cool. But I saw them. I mean, I think I saw it at least 7 or 8 times at the theater.
Yeah.
I saw the regular one. I saw the 3D. I saw the whatever. I saw all the versions. Because I have that pass.
Nice. All right.
Regal Pass, $22 a month, baby. You can see as many times you want to.
Kyle, what about you? How'd you first see it?
I first saw it on the preview night before AMC Theater, Dolby Digital, full Atmos, full large size digital screen.
Is that the one that has
Dolby
the hands that come out of the seat and tickle you and like to do things to you?
No, that's the box thing. But
okay, D box.
This is the one that makes THX seem quiet.
I gotcha. Okay. You know, it's interesting. Sorry. Go ahead.
So I saw it on that. It was an awesome experience. I think half the crowd was wearing something Deadpool related, and the other half was wearing at least something Marvel related. So,
just like me, I'm wearing my Deadpool pendant T-shirt. There you go.
Nice.
So when I knew when I was going to see this, I was going to. Kat, you'll understand this. I had to not see it in Santa Barbara because my hometown has crappy theaters. I have to drive down to Ventura, Carpinteria, whatever it is. Ventura, was it, Oxnard, further south for the better theaters. And I was going to make sure I saw the preview day because it usually starts in the day, like around 2 or 3 or whatever. I wanted to see whatever first show it was, whether it was IMAX. I got these cool IMAX cards, which I did see it in IMAX because I saw it twice on opening day. Turned out the first showing was a 3D showing. I was like, yes. So I saw the 3D showing, which is great. And that opening sequence was fantastic in 3D, by the way. And then after that, I went to the other theater to see it in IMAX, where you got your little cool IMAX ticket cards here along with your purchase there. It's funny because it shows the back of the Honda Odyssey with a bunch of stickers on it. One says 0 Fox given. I thought that's pretty funny.
Nice.
So, and I think Kat, I think I saw it like 3 or 4 more times, but not as much as you.
I was going to say, you know how I'm such a huge fan of 3D movies?
No, you're not. You are being very sarcastic right now.
I actually saw this in 3D as well.
Really? You sat through a 3D movie? Wow.
I can sit through them. I just don't enjoy them. But this one I had to see in 3D.
Well,
also,
let's get into
surround sound and everything too.
Let's get into the main movie discussion here, guys. Okay, so I have a discussion point I want to bring up because this movie addresses discussion point.
You're breaking up, dude.
What's that?
You're breaking up.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm hearing myself. Okay, you guys hear me? Okay.
Yep.
Good. All right. So the discussion point that I have is the Wolverine Logan 2017 versus the Deadpool and Wolverine 2014. And what I mean by this is what this movie tried to do is not tarnish the legacy of what we saw in Logan, because Logan was dark, it was depressing. Logan character was killed off. Did you like the ending of Logan 2017 with his death? So it's a 2-part question here. And did Deadpool and Wolverine do justice bringing the Wolverine variant back? Kat, I want to start with you on that.
Not being... I like the Wolverine movies. I like Logan. You really can't kill him. So, I mean, him dying sort of didn't make much sense to me. I mean, temporary status of like, okay, we're going to faux bury him, but he's going to claw his way out. I was expecting him to claw his way out at the end of the movie and like, hey, walk away or something like that. Bringing them justice to bring him back to where Deadpool did, fucking hilarious. I loved it. That was so good. the whole skeleton and hey, can just play in the movie? Yeah, okay, yeah, hey. Just like I'm like, I love this movie.
Lacey, your thoughts on that? Logan versus what we got in Deadpool Wolverine.
Okay, I have a different opinion of it now than I did before this came out, because originally Logan was my not my least favorite, but like I knew that I would never watch it again because it was just so sad. I mean, it was very much a drama. This was not an action. I mean, it had a little bit of action, obviously, but it was more, drama, war film than, fun popcorn movie, big tentpole kind of thing. And I mean, I know that I know the whole, Old Man Logan. I get it. But it was so sad and so depressing. And now with this, I'm like, okay. The second they started doing multiverse stuff, I was like, okay, that could be reasonable. Like, I will add that back into the viewing order now. Whereas I had.
Is it because this movie brought back a variant, and that Wolverine is not actually dead, just that version of him is?
Right. That version, because I think that, especially because we got to see so many versions of him. Yeah, I think
that's a good point, because it's made me keep my version of Logan, and I'll get into that in a second.
Yeah,
Kyle.
Normally, like when I, every once in a while, I'll do like a full universe rewatch, which is now, if you include all of Spider-Man and X-Men, everything else is like 42 movies.
Yeah.
So I'll take a week.
Kyle.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on how Logan 2017 ended and how it was dealt with in this film?
Well, apparently until recently, I was the only member of the Fandom Podcast Network who actually enjoyed Logan.
I enjoyed it. It was just sad.
I was a big fan of the movie, and I thought it was what they did, considering that Hugh Jackman at the time had made it very clear he was done, and I thought it was a very good way to bring it full circle with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Doing what they did, I think they did a phenomenal job. Hugh had kind of dropped the hints for years that the only way he'd ever come back was if he could team up with Ryan and do a Wolverine Deadpool film. So to do it the way they did it, I thought was very well done. Using the TVA, using the Universal multiverse crossover, bringing in this Wolverine version that was coming from a very bad place himself. I think everything worked, and they really did a good job of pulling it off. And really, by the end of the film, you forget that it's a different Universal Wolverine. It's Hugh Jackman on screen as Wolverine, and that's the most important thing.
Well, what Kyle was referring to earlier is I was not a fan of Logan. Logan was depressing, and how do you take one of the two most iconic people in superhero fandom of Professor X and Wolverine, and have them both dead and buried in shallow graves at the end of a film? Who the hell is going to like that? Well, I sure as hell didn't. It fucking sucked. And I did not return to that movie. However, I am now willing to visit again because of how this movie treated it. It didn't diminish Logan 2017 at all, because now we have different versions of Logan to pull from. What I did there? Cool.
Don't quit your day job.
Yeah. But I did want to bring up an article I found here. LA Times by Michael Ordonez did a little interview with our trio here. Of course, the director and the two stars. Deadpool and Wolverine is not the first time those two characters have appeared together. They would be universally dumped upon X-Men Origins Wolverine 2009, starring Hugh Jackman in his fourth turn as Logan/Wolverine, and Ryan Reynolds as a version of Wade Wilson/Deadpool. So far removed from its essence, it's best left unremarked upon. But Deadpool Wolverine is the first R-rated Marvel Cinematic Universe entry and the first R-rated movie to gross more than $1.3 billion. Quote, if you had told me as the director of Cheaper by the Dozen, this is Shawn Levy, that I would end up directing the most successful R-rated movie in history, says producer, director, co-writer Shawn Levy, I would have laughed in your face, but secretly been really fucking thrilled. But the MCU's multiverse fair, in which versions of characters from different universes meet, have been fading in popularity, and this entry had to move past one of the most celebrated superhero deaths ever, When Wolverine was scratched off in Logan 2017, it turns out that the answer was to find the worst Wolverine, no, not from X-Men Origins, to finally put him in the yellow and blue suit from the comics, to let these three good friends play around loosely with one of the screen's most popular heroes. Jackman interviewed, though Kevin Feige made a good case when he told me don't come back, Logan was a perfect ending. Jackman, I thought the same. I was nervous. When I rang Ryan, I said, I feel in my guts we've got to do this. I don't often get that feeling. Often I'll be here pointing at his head. The pros and cons. If I'd been here, I wouldn't have done it. I said, I'm nervous, guys. And Ryan's like, you're nervous. We've got to write it. Hugh, you were saying earlier the playing around unlocked something for you. What exactly? Jackman says the idea of I am the X-Men, but also what the suit means to me and being proud to be an X-Men and what Charles Xavier meant to me and why I'm going to risk dying to give Deadpool a second chance. They were written in there, and don't get me wrong, but there were some improvs in which a lot of emotion came up. So that's why I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this, because there was a lot of fans that weren't happy with the way Logan did, but I think in the end, guys, this movie didn't step on its toes, yet paid some tribute to it. Would you guys agree? Kat,
100%.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Lacey, you're nodding your head about you too, Kyle.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They had a fine line to walk, and I think they did it very well, and they gave you everybody what they wanted while still making the integrity of Logan stay high.
Yeah. That's why I've kept my copy of Logan, and I'll revisit it one of these days. So let's get into some reviews here. Rotten Tomatoes, 75% of the 410 critics of this time, anyway, there's probably more on there now, gave the film a positive review with an average rating of 7 out of 10. The website's critic consensus reads, Ryan Reynolds makes himself at home in the MCU with acerbic wit, while Hugh Jackman provides an adamantium backbone to the proceedings in Deadpool and Wolverine, and a irreverent romp with a surviving soft spot for a bygone era of superhero movies. Cinema Score gave an average grade of an A out of A+ to an F. Writing for Empire, Ollie Richards gave the film 4 stars out of 5. He praised the film for doing all it can to bring everyone along for the ride, including those who don't know their Professor X from their X-23. And in a very positive review, Deadline's Hollywood's Pete Hammond felt the collaboration between the film's title characters, which resemble Godzilla vs. Kong 2021 and Midnight Run 1988, works beyond your wildest dream teams. He praised Levy's average of stars and know that Deadpool's raunchy jokes come so rapid fire this time, even more so than the first 2 Deadpool films. So overall, we got pretty good reviews. There were some negative ones out there, but I think most people did enjoy it. Anyone got any thoughts on the reviews here?
The negative ones are wrong.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get into some trivia here. Sorry, Kyle.
I was just going to say, I have noticed a trend recently with reviews where people have kind of come back and revisit this, not hating on it, but maybe downgrading it a little bit because of recency in their
recency bias,
reviews.
maybe.
Yeah, recency bias in their early reviews. I've seen a few people, like I said, not bring it like way down, but have definitely said maybe it wasn't quite as high up there as it was before. And it's been a trend I've noticed with the reviews of this film in the last few months.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we got some trivia here on Deadpool and Wolverine, and Kyle and Lacey, if you would like to participate, bring up your notes there. I'll read the first one. Hugh Jackman said he really was done playing the character of Wolverine after Logan 2017. He said then he regretted the statement after watching the first Deadpool movie and expressed to Ryan his interest in the 2 characters meeting on the big screen. When asked why he chose to return for this film, he simply said, quote, I just wanted to do it and I felt in my gut, adding that he wanted to have the best possible time ever on a movie set together with Ryan Reynolds. Likewise, Reynolds wanted to work alongside Jackman since his first Deadpool film and was saddened when Jackman retired from the role. Kyle, do you want to get number 2 there for me?
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds said that he and the makers purposely asked for a lower budget than Disney was prepared to offer them, remembering that the first Deadpool in 2016 was such a success because they had a constant time and budget limitations, which fostered an atmosphere for great creativity.
Lacey, you want to read number 3 for us?
Kevin Feige was originally against bringing Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine, as he was concerned that doing so would undermine the events of Logan, which was a movie that Kevin Feige held in very high esteem. He eventually relented once it was confirmed that this film would focus on a different variant of Wolverine, combined with Hugh Jackman really wanting to return to the role. His only stipulation for Jackman coming back was that Logan had to be depicted in his classic yellow and blue costume.
Which, of course, paid off in dividends. Number 4 here, the first R-rated movie directly distributed under the Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures, as opposed to one of its banners like Touchstone. Deadpool and Wolverine became the highest-grossing R-rated movie of all time after 23 days in theaters. To celebrate the occasion, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige posted a photo of a thank you note to the fans. Beneath the note was a listing of slang words used for cocaine. Kyle, get us the next one there.
Yep. During the film's early development, several actors, including Hugh Jackman himself, wanted to have their characters breaking the fourth wall alongside Deadpool to add to the comedic tone of the film. Ryan Reynolds shut this idea down, though, as he felt having anyone who wasn't the title character making self-aware jokes would make him less distinct and take away his unreliable narrator status. Jackman does, however, get a chance to break the fourth wall in the movie's "Turn Off Your Cell Phones" message.
Okay, I want to ask you about that. I agree with this because it just would have been weird, and I feel like we wouldn't have taken Hugh Jackman's Wolverine as seriously if he tried to break the fourth wall, right?
Wolverine's not a fourth wall breaker, so it would just be stupid.
Yeah.
Marvel movies have done a great job in the past on a lot of things, taking some liberties with some other things, like the Ben Affleck Kingpin being black, and certain liberties like that. So making Wolverine break the fourth wall is just no. You do that with the characters in the comics who break the fourth wall. Deadpool, She-Hulk, Bloop, those kind of characters that can do
and
it.
they kind of joke about that in this movie too with Nice Pool. So we'll get to that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Lacey, you want to read number 6 for us, please?
Vinnie Jones is approached to reprise his role as Juggernaut from X-Men: The Last Stand, 2006. But he turned it down because, quote, "it's such a drama putting on that suit." The new Juggernaut wearing Jones's suit is played by Aaron W. Reed, who played Dude in Free Guy 2021, starring Ryan Reynolds.
Number 7, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman first met on the set of X-Men Origins Wolverine 2009, which began their friendship. While promoting the film, Reynolds stated in an interview that at the end of his first day on the set of the former film, Jackman came up to him and asked how he was feeling. Reynolds told him that he felt that his performance in the elevator scene wasn't very good. In response, Jackman had the cast and crew return to their station so that he could reshoot the scene and for Reynolds to redo his performance in a better way. Reynolds stated that he was touched by this wonderful gesture and never forgot it. Kyle, give us the last one there.
The film's release in 2024 coincides with the 50th anniversary of Wolverine's debut in The Incredible Hulk number 180 in 1974.
There you go. Yes, Lacey.
Okay, so realistically, I thought that everyone kind of considered 181 to be... I mean, I know that he's in the very last frame of 180, but isn't 181 like the big one that everyone tries to find? That's the one that's so hard to find, right?
181 is the hard one to find due to the fact that it's the first full appearance of Wolverine. The first appearance in 180 is the quote-unquote money comic. So if you can find a 180 and get one for a good price, don't waste your time. You grab that bad boy, put it in a Mylar, get it graded up, and send it off. But if you can get a 181, don't hesitate on that one either, because that's the full first appearance of John Byrne's Wolverine.
I, way back in the day, bought that comic for my boyfriend, and I framed it for him. 181.
Nice.
Yes.
Does he still have it?
He does.
Go steal it. All right.
And we're still friends.
Yeah, I would steal that back.
Next, we've got our favorite scenes. I'm going to share some slides here on the YouTube channel here of some popular scenes, but let me know what your favorite scenes are in this movie. Kat, I got to start with you. What are some of your favorite scenes in Deadpool and Wolverine?
The opening credit to the closing credit. We'll just go with that. I really don't have a favorite scene. I fucking love this movie. I I love the beginning. I love when he's orating about him when he's digging up Wolverine. I love when he is fighting with Wolverine. I love the Deadpool core, like the picture you're showing right there. When they show all the heroes, quote unquote, getting out of the car, great scene. The fight scenes. I mean, even the end credit scene with Johnny Storm mouthing off against Cassandra. Just everything from beginning to end. I love this movie.
All right, Lacey, what are your favorite scenes?
Every time Deadpool says not a word, who should I like? Every time he makes fun of Channing Tatum's accent is delightful.
So when he's talking, okay, gotcha. Yeah, he's talking Channing Tatum's Gambit.
I don't know what it is. I mean, I understand Cajun or whatever, but it's absolutely hilarious. I love it.
Kyle, what are some of your favorite scenes?
The opening scene is an all-time classic with the whole NSYNC and everything with that. I'm a big fan of the fight of Deadpool and Wolverine versus all the other Deadpools, especially when Peter Poole shows up at the end of the fight, and they all just like worship the ground that Peter walks on. Peter rocking some magic in this movie. I mean, he even had the TVA agent checking him out. So
you look damn good in that uniform. I like the scenes of the TVA when he first gets there, and he's figuring out what's going on, and and there's that quick scene of Thor crying. He's like, "Why is Thor crying?" And then when he finally gets his suit, and he says that his tailor, you might want to check your tailor. I think he's a predator. I just thought that whole suit up scene was so funny. I was rewatching it recently. I was laughing out loud. Yes, Kyle.
One other scene that I think has to be mentioned is when they first get into the void and they come across Chris Evans, and he's thinking it's Captain America. He's gonna say it. Fly him on. What?
Yeah, and I absolutely love that opening scene where exhumes Logan's grave, and he uses the titanium bones as weapons. And what I love about that scene is it looked fantastic in 3D. But then the one where he has he gets the adamantium claws and they're stuck in the two TVA agents and they're like going back and forth. It's just like, so funny.
The best line in there though is when the guy's like, "Make it stop," and he says, "Mangold tried."
Yeah, Mangold tried.
Mangold tried. Mm.
This movie had so many fucking funny quotes, and there's too many to mention here, guys, but I did want to get your thoughts on some of your favorite quotes. I did want to mention mine first real quick, get it out of the way here, is when Nice Pull breaks the fourth wall, and he goes, "The proposal." and Deadpool's like, "What are you doing? That's my shtick." Kyle, any of your favorite quotes?
Well, you have one here in the notes. That's Deadpool. That's Wolverine. You're damn straight it is. Fox killed him. Disney brought him back. They're going to make him do this till he's 90. And
they're going to make him do it till he's 90. And he kind of laughs.
I love the whole Deadpool speech about the multiverse. And just because of how spot on it was. And yeah, we're done with the multiverse thing. We just need to just say it was a bad idea.
And Kat, what are some of your favorite quotes or lines?
I liked it when he was in the TVA. He breaks the fourth wall and he tells Marvel, Disney, "Fuck you, Disney. I'm with Marvel."
No, Fox. He says it's a Fox.
That's it. Yeah, fuck you, Fox. That was a great one. And he tries to break the camera. And the one-off lines that he does that are just really funny, like when he's walking by, he goes, "No, he gets it," and he points down to the guy drinking the coffee. Those are lines that I really like in Deadpool, just because of the one-off.
That's when he goes, "Your eyes say this, but they say fucky."
Yeah, exactly. Those kind of lines. And again, a lot of other lines, just are really funny. When he does certain things.
So one of the things that was brought up to Kevin Feige about with Ryan Reynolds was like, is there any lines that we shouldn't cross? Anything that we shouldn't do? And he says, well, maybe you can just lay off the cocaine a little bit. So they made a joke into it in the movie, in the party scene, which I thought was really funny and clever. Even Feige thought it was clever. And it goes, Blind Al goes, want to do some cocaine? Wade says, hey, cocaine is one of the things Feige said is off limits. What about Bolivian marching powder? They know all the slang terms. They have a list. Even snowboarding, even disco dust. White girl interrupted, even forest bump. Booger sugar? Booger sugar. I wouldn't even try powdered donuts. Do you want to build a snowman? Yes, but I can't. Just so classic. Let's talk about the cast, guys. Here, we're going to have a little bit of fun. Oh, Lacey, did you have something else?
You skipped me.
I apologize. What am I doing, Lacey?
How dare you, sir?
I'm going to sit in the corner. Give me your best lines.
Yes, turn around. Anyway, as far as quotes though, I think some of the side characters with the just the kind of the drop-in lines, like when the taxi driver, we come into the party and we're scanning through it. We're panning across, and he's obviously telling this story that he's told 37,000 times, and everybody's kind of like mimicking the last line of this this is earbuds every time, like that kind of thing. Also, the whole HR run with the guy at the TVA was hilarious. And Nathan Fillion saying, "Cute little puppy."
Saying what?
Cute little puppy.
Cute little puppy.
Cute little puppy.
Cute little puppy. Yeah, just adorable.
And the guy with the beard that wants to talk and say something like, no.
Oh yeah, no
line
lines
for you this time.
Which is actually goes back to Deadpool 2, because I spent the last week watching 1, 2, 2.5, and 3, and all the commentaries. And that was delightful, because in the last one he was like, God, no more lines for you. No more dialogue.
Kyle.
Let's not forget the power of Wesley Snipes in this movie. There's only one blade.
Yes.
He's pretty much spoken that into existence at this point.
Looks
Very
like
much.
somebody's still trying to skate uphill. I skate uphill.
Let's talk about the cast here, guys. We're going to have a little fun with this. Now, normally we kind of say, what are your favorite cast members and stuff, but I want to have a little fun here, because what I want to do, first of all, is ask you, what was your favorite cameo? And I have some honorable mentions here. I have Jennifer Garner as Elektra, Blake Lively as Lady Pool, Matthew McConaughey as Cowboy Pool, Aaron Stanford as Pyro, Tyler Mane as Sabretooth, Channing Tatum as Gambit, Chris Evans as Johnny Storm, Nathan Fillion as Headpool, Jon Favreau as Happy Hogan, Wesley Snipes as Blade. That's a short list there, so there's more, of course. But Kat, I want to go to you. What was your favorite cameo or short appearance role in Deadpool and Wolverine?
I have to say probably Wesley Snipes coming back as Blade, but right up there would be Channing Tatum as Gambit. Those are probably my two favorite ones out of all the cameos and appearances.
Kyle, what about you?
Channing Tatum is great as Gambit. Wesley Snipes is Blade, but come on, it is Chris Evans returning as Johnny Storm. He steals every scene he is in. It's so much fun, and just how they played up on that, and to have him taken out by Pyro, which just fits perfectly when you think about the MCU and the character power sets. And I gotta give a quick shout out to Daphne Keane too. She's always great to see on my screen as X-23.
Yeah, good call. My favorite was seeing Jennifer Garner as Elektra. I'm a huge fan of the Elektra film and Deadpool and the original Ben Affleck Daredevil. I know they're cheesy. I love them though, but I fell in love with Jennifer Garner in Alias, and I loved her in Elektra, and I love the fact that she came back for this. And I was just like, yes, one of my favorite moments in that. And until I found out later too, knowing that Nathan Fillion was Headpool, another thing I just completely laughed about. I thought that was great. A lot of fun with that. Yeah, Kyle.
You got to give a special shout out to Ryan Reynolds' daughter for playing Kid Deadpool.
Yeah, the potty mouth one, the nasty one. Yeah. Happy Hogan, of course, there with Deadpool. Great scene there. Here's another thing about the cast I want to ask you guys. We had, of course, yes, Kat.
You forgot Lacey again.
I didn't. God darn it, Kevin. All right, Lacey.
I'm just going to sit over here and be sad and alone.
There you go. Sorry. Name. Give me your favorite cameo. Sorry.
The cameo for me is gonna be Gambit. Although I really did dig Aaron. What's Pyro? Aaron. I've lost his last name.
Aaron Stanford.
Stanford, thank you, Stanford. I dug him coming back. He didn't have a lot to do, but I think that his interaction with Johnny Storm is so classic. It's basically the version that you see of Wolverine meeting against Magneto. It's like the one thing that Johnny Storm has is the one thing that Aaron Stanford can control.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, you don't have
was
this.
not
Like, I've got this. It's like, no, you don't. You super don't.
Not a good matchup.
Yeah.
Not a good matchup. Yeah, definitely. All right. Here's another thing that we like to do during the cast part of this segment here is Wolverine. We had some different Wolverine appearances in this movie, some classic ones. Now, I'm not the comic book guy, so I didn't get a lot of these references until later. I know that I had to pick your brain, Kat. So my question is, of all of the Wolverine variants, which one was your favorite? And I have a list here for those listening. Old Man Logan. Old Man Logan is the variant seen sitting on a porch wearing a cowboy hat who shoots Deadpool before he can much more than comment on Wolverine's age. We have Patch, of course, wearing the kind of look very, very James Bond version there. Weapon Omega. We also have Crucified Wolverine. We have Cavalrine. And then Wolverine Versus. I think that was the one with Hulk. I believe that was the one with the famous kind of brown and yellow outfit.
First appearance.
Yeah, pretty sharp. So, Lacey, so I don't forget you this time, you get to go first. What was your favorite Wolverine variant?
Okay.
Little tiny Wolverine. Too,
and then, mini Wolverine, yeah. What do they call him? Short King Wolverine.
Comic height accurate Wolverine.
There you go.
I think, okay, so first of all, I have to say that Old Man Wolverine, I legitimately thought that was Hugh Jackman's character from Australia the first time I saw the movie. I thought they just threw that in as a joke.
Inside joke? That would have been funny.
Yeah, I mean, because, whatever. I loved the Cavalrine. That's awesome. And I loved how he, pumped the, because everyone, when he pumps his the punches beforehand, the fact that he did that out of exhaustion on Mission Impossible 7 or whatever it was, and the only reason he did that was because his biceps were getting sore, like stiff from doing the scene over and over again, and then he was told like, no, do that again, that was awesome. And so the fact that they turned that particular scene and took that and made it, that was how his claws came out, was just delicious. I do wish that the miniature, the shorter Wolverine, there had been so much conversation about Daniel Radcliffe taking over the mantle, and I wish that they had him play that one shot. I think that would have been like a nice little nod to all the kind of the fan casting.
Right.
But it's definitely going to be the Cavalrine.
Kat, I want to get your opinion, but remind me, the one that he meets in the alleyway, the one that's on the bottom right here, he looks like he could be an extra out of a heavy metal video.
Yeah.
Which version is that one?
That's also a Days of Future Past Wolverine.
Okay.
Nope. That is Age of Apocalypse Wolverine.
Oh, you're right. But didn't he have his handgun in Days of Future Past too?
No, he went by Weapon X in Age of Apocalypse, and that's the Age of Apocalypse version.
Okay, that's when the Cyclops blew off his hand.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense because it's.
Which Wolverine variant was your favorite, Kat?
I loved Patch. Patches. I like the whole Madripoor. That was a great comic run for me, so I enjoyed reading it, which is the James Bond one. But if I'm going to be honest, it has to be the OG John Burns Brown Wolverine because first appearance he did the whole grunt look, the whole squatting down like I'm Wolverine, like he should have been. Like he did at the beginning of the Deadpool fight scene when he and Deadpool fight the Deadpool Corps. And then of course a quick little version of the Hulk in his claws. But
with a quick little impersonation of Loki.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Kyle, which one is your favorite Wolverine variant?
I'm a fan of the patch Wolverine. I'm my cat. That's one of the more fun runs of Wolverine. Seeing the brown suit is always cool. It wasn't quite his first. He didn't wear the brown suit until a little bit later in the X-Men comics, but I think around the time Frank Miller did his famous Wolverine miniseries, and the Crucified Wolverine, I wanted to have the guts to do that, and that is one of the most famous X-Men covers of all time.
Yeah.
So to do that is really quite powerful. And Kevin, I need to make you aware of something since we're talking about comic versions of Wolverine. You know, Larry Hama has an incredibly famous run writing Wolverine comics.
Really, our godfather of GI Joe, Larry Hama.
Yes, he had a very famous run of writing Wolverine.
Which version?
The individual Wolverine comic that came out. I want to say like late 80s.
Okay.
Early 90s.
It
was right after the patch run.
Gotcha. Okay.
When Claremont finished up his writing.
I think that was, you were like
30s,
89 into the 90s.
Yeah, right around the 30 issue mark of that.
Gotcha. My personal favorite is probably the short, cute little Wolverine, because that scene was so funny in the bar, especially when he jumps off the stool. And I love the Cavalrine cameo as well. Lacey, did you have something you wanted to add?
I was just going to say Claremont is going to be at Huntsville this year again. And that's awesome. He'll be at the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo in April.
Who is?
Chris Claremont.
Chris Claremont.
Okay, very, very cool. Okay. All right, guys, we are talking Deadpool here now because Deadpool had some variants. So my next question for you regarding the cast is, who was your favorite Deadpool variant? And a very funny scene here, a very entertaining fight scene. Lacey, gonna start with you.
It's a toss-up between Nice Pool and Kid Pool. I mean, Kid Pool's awesome because she's just awesome. And Nice Pool is so ridiculous that it's almost like when he's standing there, he's like, I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna live.
Regenerate? What's that?
Yeah, I think he got me. But yeah, and the whole his connection with Baby Pool, with Dog Pool, and then the gold-plated guns, which also helped set aside. Once
over my dead body,
the gold-plated guns go to our Deadpool, so that you can kind of see who he is as he's doing the fight and everything. It was nice.
Nice. Kyle, which one is your favorite Deadpool variant?
I mean, come on, you got to give Lady Pool all the credit. She just had a baby and she's wearing that suit. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay for me to say it. It's okay. Also, too, I had a lot of fun with Ice Pool. I mean, it was Ryan Reynolds being everything that was opposite of Deadpool to the nth degree, but yet he was still annoying in his own way.
That was not Ryan Reynolds. That was Gordon Reynolds. Get it straight.
Gordon Reynolds, yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
what about you? What about you, Kat?
Cyberpool. No, I'm kidding. Although he was cool to look at, he's probably the most distinctive one of them all. No, Kid Pool or Nathan Fillion's Head Pool. Those
Gotcha.
would be
Yeah.
my two.
Head Pool is a runner-up for me, but Nice Pool, played by Gordon, was my favorite as well. Lacey?
I got a question for, just because I don't know. What's the mask, the gas mask one? Is that just like World War II Pool?
Another alternate timeline, yeah, basically.
Okay.
I do like the fact too he actually got one of his Wrexham players in there as one of the.
Yeah, as Wrexham Pool.
Yeah.
Want to give a shout out to I want to give a shout out to some of the other cast members here that shined. Of course, we had Emma Corrin's Cassandra Nova. My favorite was what's his name? Matthew Macfadyen as Mr. Paradox, as pretty much the main villain when you think about it, because you think Cassandra is the main villain, but maybe it's Paradox. Daphne King, of course, returning. Morena Baccarin. Rob Delaney as Peter, of course. Leslie Uggams. Was there any the other supporting cast members that stood out for you, Kat?
Oh, that stood out. I mean, each of the main four characters that came in at the end. I mean, they all stood up for Chris Evans for his support. But I don't know. I think probably the one that was not being a superhero that probably stood out the most would be Blind Al's character. Uggams?
Leslie Uggams.
Yeah, her.
Yeah.
Her line with the snowman and the cocaine, just great lines. And even in all the other movies, her lines were just really fun to watch and listen to. With Deadpool talking about drugs, I found the cure for cocaine, the cure for blindness. Next to the, cocaine on your head. What? Where's that at?
Lacey.
But,
I loved seeing Negasonic Teenage Warhead and Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Hi, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Kyle.
I got to give it up to Emma Corrin. She played a very complicated character to put on screen in Cassandra Nova, considering the character's power set and history, and she pulled it off pretty damn well. She was you know what? Let's be honest. She was working the Cassandra Nova haircut very well as well. But I mean, she just pulled off that character, which is a very insane character in the comics, and is a little bit older in the comics. Obviously, a much closer age to Charles Xavier, but yeah, she did a fantastic job in that Cassandra Nova.
I want to give a special shout out to Peggy the dog pool. The cutest, ugliest dogs ever. Okay, guys, here's another fun one here. Now, I do have some casting trivia here. There were plans for Ben Affleck to return as Matt Murdock, but he was never asked, apparently. And Ryan Reynolds did confirm that Nicolas Cage had a discussion about reprising his role as Ghost Rider from Ghost Rider 2007 and Spirit of Vengeance in 2011 as one of the heroes of the Void, but ultimately went nowhere. Also, director Shawn Levy, Henry Cavill immediately said yes to making a cameo as an alternate Wolverine in the movie as soon as he was asked. But I have a big question here for you guys. So I saw a lot of people saying it was great to see these characters show up in the Void. But my question to you is, if you could add one more character to be part of that Void, who would it have been? And I'm going to go first. My first pick would have been Dolph Lundgren's Punisher because they made a Punisher joke in the movie. How cool would it have been if he came back and was part of the Void, or at least a Punisher? That's my vote. Kat, who would you have liked to have seen part of the Void cast?
Spider-Man.
Which one?
Tobey Maguire. Especially after that third movie dance thing he did. No, but Spider-Man, because Spider-Man and Deadpool.
Wait. Are you referring to Spider-Man 3 or
Yeah.
the one where he came back with Garfield? What are you talking about?
Spider-Man 3.
Okay, gotcha.
Wait, Spider-Man 3, like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3?
Yes.
Yeah, the one where he dances, he's dressed all in black, and he's doing that really bad dance.
Got it.
So I'd like to see him come back sort of as a joke, but Deadpool and Spider-Man have a huge bond throughout the comics. I'd love to see Spider-Man in this because he has a lot of connections with a lot of these characters that you're seeing right now, except for Elektra and X-23.
Okay.
He's either fought with or been with all these guys.
Lacey, what character would you have liked to have seen show up? You're holding up a Blu-ray.
Blu-ray, yeah. Black Bolt.
Black
Who
Bolt?
is
Wow.
Black Bolt?
The Inhumans.
Did you see the movie where Wanda went bad and went crazy and evil and all that stuff? And
yeah.
Doctor Strange 2, did you see Doctor Strange 2, Kevin?
Yes.
Remember the guy with the little tuning fork on his head?
Okay.
What if you can't speak and it blew his head up?
So, Lacey, you wanted
That's
Black
Black
Bolt to be part of this cast.
Yeah, it was they did a single season on Max, I think.
No, it was
Netflix?
No, not even Netflix. It was like not
Regular
CW.
TV.
It was a Freeform or something like that. It was ABC. And it was
Okay.
basically ABC.
That
Yeah,
was
and
terrible.
it's just 8 episodes, but it's I really dug what they did with it, and I was really upset that it didn't
You-
pick back
I'm
up.
sorry, hold
You
on.
are in the minority of
You like
a
that?
lot
You actually like the Inhumans?
I did. I thought it was
Oh my
fun. I
God,
loved
I thought
the
it was
characters.
terrible.
I loved what they could do, and I love Yoan. Oh, what's his last name? Yoan.
Well, before we get too sidetracked here, though, Kyle, who would you have liked to have seen show up in the Void?
You know what we truly needed? We needed a James Marsden Cyclops, just so he could have a little banter with Wolverine and throw some barbs at each other. For
Those X-Men movies and those two going at it was definitely some entertaining moments. Yeah.
That would be my vote.
Well, any other quick shout outs of who you like to come out there besides my Dolph Lundgren's Punisher?
I could have done with Thomas Jane as the Punisher too.
I was going to say Thomas Jane.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah,
that would have been a good one. All right. The next category we got here, guys, is the fast or not so furious favorite mode of transportation. And I think the winner is by far the Honda Odyssey because it fucks so hard, apparently.
But I like the Kia.
So, yeah, I think that gets the win there. Unless someone else had another honorable mention. Yes, Lacey.
I did like the whatever it was that they jumped on when they were escaping the ant.
Sentinel leg.
That was a Sentinel leg.
The Sentinel leg. Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool, like a little makeshift vehicular action. That was kind of fun. But yeah, definitely the Honda Odyssey. Absolutely.
I don't know.
Next,
I like the Moon Knight's vehicle. The bus.
They had some cool vehicles in the void there that looked very Mad Maxy, as Deadpool said. So yeah. The next thing we have here is the Zoolander. They look so hot right now. Favorite costume or fashion moment, and I'm going to show a couple of them here. First of all, I got Lady Pool here, of course, looking really good. But I think Kat, Kyle, Lacey, it's got to be probably the classic look, not only of Deadpool, but more importantly of Wolverine. Because when we first started seeing pictures on set of this, the fans went insane, Kat.
Oh, the story that Hugh Jackman tells, that when they first did this scene and they walked out, everyone went, and you couldn't even hear a fly sneeze. It was so quiet, and people were still like, oh my god, So yeah, absolutely, 100%. That's my scene right there.
And
Kyle? Oh, Lacey, go ahead, Lacey.
well, from the commentary, apparently, when they were filming the scene that you've got pictured, that was the first day that they shot with Hugh in the yellow suit, and apparently somebody saw some paparazzi that had trekked out into the desert, right? And so they immediately took this shot and had Ryan put it out on social media so that they could be the first. They were like, if it's a break, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that wouldn't be my choice for best suit. I think that Peter with the moose knuckle definitely good. I don't know what's going on.
You jumped on my pick there, Lacey, but yes, his gigantic moose knuckle bulge as he shows up with all the Deadpool variants, with whatever he is packing in there, and then some, was very impressive. Kyle,
I'm pretty sure it's a gourd, those gourds that you make it into a birdhouse.
Yeah, we sell those at Trader Joe's. Yeah,
I feel like that's gotta be what's going on there. I'm not sure how or why, but yeah.
Kyle, who's getting your vote for Zoolander? They look so hot right now.
Obviously, I think the most important costume within the film is the Wolverine costume. I mean, we've waited years and years and years for this. The first X-Men movie even had a joke about it. Yeah. So, you have that, but yeah, I gotta give some love to just all the Deadpool variants, because there's not a bad costume in that bunch. The designs of them are so unique. So whether it's Lady Deadpool, Cowboy Deadpool, whatever, to have those variants of the Deadpool, there wasn't a bad one in the bunch.
Do you guys want to look at this picture some more of Peter Pool? I'm just saying.
No, I'm good.
I'm good.
Are you sure? Because I can leave it up there.
Can we go back to Lady Deadpool, please?
Yeah, go back a scene.
I'm gonna make.
Are you sure you don't want to? I mean,
Kevin,
the TVA woman really likes this one here, so
I know where you live, Kevin.
I'm gonna zoom in and make that your contact picture on my phone.
Please, Moose Knuckle Peter, love it. Okay, guys, the next segment we have here is the Harry Met Sally scene. Best scene or moment between two characters. My favorite is the moment between Wolverine and X-23 Laura, because we get a reunion between these two from the Logan movie, and Wolverine says, "Hey, whoever you think I am, you got the wrong guy." And she says, "You were always the wrong guy until you weren't." Great scene between these two. I really, really enjoyed it. And Hugh Jackman really got a chance to cook a few times, especially when he gets serious. Lacey, your favorite moment between two characters?
It's a toss-up between the scene with Peter and the TVA agent, who thinks that he just looks so good in that suit right now, and the scene where Hugh Jackman and they're with the what is it, the Demolisher or whatever it's called, the Disruptor, where they're where his shirt like bursts off.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because the commentary, they made there was a specific reason as to why his shirt popped off. It wasn't just so they could show his abs. It was because throughout the whole film, the fact that he was the worst Deadpool was the reason that he said, like, I didn't show up for them. I didn't wear the suit. So now I always wear the suit. And so now that he has redeemed himself, the suit comes off.
Right.
Which I thought was really fun. And the fact that the first thing you see is, Deadpool going, oh, and looking and like looking at the abs. Yeah.
And then he does a little nod to the camera.
Like, yeah, all right. I mean, yeah.
Kat, I don't know if it went to you on this. Favorite moment between two characters?
I like the one that you liked as well with X-23 and Wolverine. But I also like some of the silent scenes, like when he's holding hand with Copycat. I can't remember her name in the movie. Vanessa. Talking to her, like giving her that like sidelong glance of like, hey, maybe we can make this work out when you got back.
Yeah, towards the end. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's one of my scenes too. I like.
Yeah, especially when Wolverine grabs the dog from him, saying, "Go talk to her."
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they didn't get enough screen time personally. I think could use a little more with them too.
Yeah. Kyle?
There's only one correct answer in this. And it is the moment when Deadpool reveals he made an educated wish. Which kicks off a scene we will talk about later, but that all the time spent involving the Honda Odyssey is the best moment between.
I'm gonna fight you now.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to give an honorable shout out. I love the scene between Happy and the job interview scene, and Wade trying to make a case for joining the Avengers, and little things like when Happy like stands up, he's like, "Oh, you're standing up. Yeah, we're standing up." It's like, find your spot. Maybe it's right in the middle. Great scene there. So the scene that you alluded to, Kyle, that falls under the salt and pepper, let's talk about sex or best romance scene. Now, we technically didn't have any sex or romance scenes, or did we? The Honda Odyssey fucks hard, and you can tell there was some man loving going on in that fight scene there, guys. I mean, especially at the end when Deadpool's tied up by all the seat belts and stuff. It looked like they just whatever. It looked like they went at it big time. Besides just fighting, Kyle, you alluded to it.
Yeah, I wasn't quite alluding to it in this manner, but yeah. I will say this: it's the uncut scene between Peter and the TVA agent.
The uncut scene you wish they did?
Yeah, exactly.
Scene.
The Peter Moose Knuckle scene. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, guys, here's another fun one. Of course, we are here on Couch Potato Theater discussing Deadpool and Wolverine. Our best fight scenes. There's a lot to choose from. I'll have a slide showing some of them, but let's start with you, Lacey. Lacey, what is one of your favorite fight scenes in Deadpool and Wolverine?
We've talked about it, kind of all of them at this point, I think, but I think the big Deadpool scene with all the Deadpools is the one that's like the choreography is amazing, everything else. But I still think that the Honda Odyssey, like inside, like just the restrictive area.
You mean the sex scene? Yeah, gotcha.
No, yeah, okay. But as far as specific character, I think my favorite, and especially on the 4K, this was a stunning scene, was the inside the Ant-Man scene, like the Gambit cards and like Azazel, like when with his teleportation looks amazing on the 4K.
Yeah. Kat, fight scene. What's your favorite?
Oh, man, fight scenes, really.
Does it Cassandra, by the way, putting her getting the skull fucked scenes, does that count as a fight scene? I mean, that was pretty
Not
fun.
really.
Welcome to the skull fuck club.
I want to give it to the first time Wolverine and Deadpool fight when he says, you know, okay, nerds, get your socks out. You know,
baby knife.
Baby knife. But the choreography fight between Wolverine and Deadpool emulating the fight scene in the first Spider-Man movie with Flash Thompson and Peter Parker. I don't know if you noticed that or not. That was really cool. But honestly, if I'm going to give it up to the fight scene, I think it has to be the opening sequence using the Wolverine skeleton as projectiles and all the fights, the little sneaky thing, like when he kicks it into the guy's body and he sort of like watches it go into, it's like see Ryan Reynolds and then like the outside someone else and all those, those. I mean, I think that's probably all the fight scenes are fucking amazing. But if I want to pick two parts, the opening fight scene sequence for the one on the right upper corner, and then the opening sequence as my primary.
Gotcha. What about you, Kyle?
I got to go with the fight scene in the Honda Odyssey. Just work within that confined
the sex
space.
scene. Gotcha.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. To work with that confined space with some of the sharp objects they were working with, you can't tell me there wasn't a little accidental stabby going on at some point.
Baby knife.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean that was outside. And I got to give a quick shout out to the fight scene when they attack Cassandra's fortress, because like Lacey said, in 4K that looks amazing when you add in the effects, and there's especially when you do your rewatches, there's a lot of little fights going on in the background that are quite impressive.
Speaking of a lot of little fights going on, when they fight the Deadpool variants, and when you watch that in slow motion and you look at like on the sides and around, everyone's kind of getting their shots, and even floating Headpool, he gets hit a couple times. Some very clever ways of the way Deadpool kills some of the variants too. But of course, it just starts off with Wolverine putting on that famous mask. I mean, that was just so. Even me not knowing the comics that well, just like, holy crap, he's holding on to that for so long.
I have a point of I want to say. I don't know if you noticed or not, but in that Deadpool core fight scene, his daughter, when they start running towards him with guns, she's using water guns.
Is she really?
Yeah. And they made it specifically that the daughter and the dog and the baby were not part of any of the graphic fighting and killing.
Right.
So that's funny how they did that. They showed Dogpool like running in the back and, his daughter like running by somebody, but never shooting anybody or fighting anybody. And then, of course, the baby at the end, obviously, was just sitting on the mailbox.
Yeah. All right, guys. The next segment we have here is you took them out with what? The favorite weapon or inanimate object used as a weapon. And we'll combine that. We'll see about that. But I got to give a shout out because I feel like Deadpool got Nicepool killed just for his gold-plated 50 caliber Desert Eagle pistol arrows.
Well, he said
because he asked, he's like, "Hey, can I have those?" And
100%.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, my dead body." Okay.
Yeah. Was there any other weapons or thing that were? I mean, we obviously had a Logan corpse used as well.
Baby knife.
What? Yeah, you like baby knife?
Baby knife.
Because he says baby knife every time he uses it.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 times. Baby knife. Baby knife.
I still think that Gambit's cards and just Cassandra like ripping Chris Evans' skin off was pretty impressive. Like, I don't know what telepathy. You killed him with telepathy. Yeah, okay. But
that would fall into the next category. But for weapon wise, that's yours. Gotcha.
Yeah, the cards. I think the cards were really really awesome. Yeah.
What about you, Kyle?
For me, it's using Logan's skeleton. I mean, come on.
That was good.
Especially when he straps the claws to his forearm.
Yeah. How did these work?
Well, you touched on it there, Lacey. The Sean Bean Award for death scene has got to be given to Johnny Storm for not only getting killed the way he did with getting his skin ripped off his skeleton, but also the lead up to it with all the things that Deadpool was accusing him of saying things about her. And, there's several hundred TVA agents, it seemed like, in the first opening scene, too, that got their up and comings. I mean, there's some pretty gruesome death scenes there. Nice pool. Anyone else got a shout out that you'd like to give a nomination to for best death scene?
I think it's Nice Pool.
Nice Pool?
Nice Pool or Johnny Storm. Those are the two best ones, I think.
And I did really enjoy Daphne pulling Juggernaut's head off. The decapitation.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one
solid.
too.
Yeah, it was pretty solid.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I liked when we finally get to see Wolverine take out Sabretooth and cut his head off.
Nice.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
That was a good one.
All right, the Kenny Loggins or John Williams best use of music or song in the film. This movie has a pretty cool soundtrack, guys. Lady in Red, of course, is on there as well. And Bye Bye Bye. Several of them here. But, of course, the big ones that we have here, of course, is Like a Prayer by, Madonna. They actually had to go to Madonna in person and ask for permission for this. And then the famous Bye 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 in sync dance sequence that we get in the beginning of this film. And if you go on Instagram, you can actually see the guy that was told by the guy that was the dance double for Wolverine,
Deadpool.
For Deadpool here. He got a mysterious message from his manager saying, I need you to learn the Bye 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 song by In Sync and film it because I need to send it to someone. And he got the job and he did this. He shot the scene and everything. But what was your favorite song or music that was used in the film, Kat?
Bye Bye Bye. I mean, it was hilarious. It was great. I also learned something else about that. If you remember when they were doing the joke commercial with Celine Dion for Deadpool 2, and she was singing the opening sequence for it, and Ryan Reynolds goes, Matt, we need it at a 5. He goes, this thing only goes to 11. He goes, I should have got In Sync.
Yeah.
And then in another movie, they're talking about it as well. And Logan, Hugh Jackman, he's like, oh, I hate In Sync. Turn this off because it's playing on the radio. And now you have In Sync song. I thought that was perfect. I mean, all the songs were great in this movie, perfectly timed in every part. But I think it was just fun watching that. Nathan, I think is the guy's name that's doing the dance.
Yeah.
And then the whole choreography with the fight scene, that was my favorite song at that point. Even though I am not an NSYNC fan.
Kyle.
Madonna's Like a Prayer. I mean, I was a fan of that song anyway, and now you put it to this. But I want to give a little special shout outs to the use of Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls in this.
Yeah.
One. They all think they're dead, and then they come walking out, and the Iris starts playing. It just
Paradox goes, fuck!
Yeah.
What's going
There's
on?
something about that just fits so well, and I loved it.
Lacey, did you have a favorite musical moment?
I liked all the songs were well done, but I think that my favorite audio bit was Reynolds humming along, like singing along with the Marvel
logo in the beginning.
I think that just set the tone. I mean, it was just perfect.
That's a good call out. I like that.
And
I like the Honda Odyssey fight scene with "You're the One That I Want" by Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta. I thought that was a good
nice.
one.
Yeah.
You liked that sex scene, didn't you?
Yeah, pretty. Yeah. All right, the Star Wars Twin Sons' favorite filming location or set piece, guys. There were some great set pieces and locations in this. I wanted to get your thoughts on them. Kat, which was one of your favorites?
The desert scene when they showed everybody driving up in all those cool-looking cars and very Mad Maxy, as they say. And going into Cassandra's giant Ant-Man was just really cool too.
Yeah, Paul Rudd has aged. Yes.
Yeah,
Lacey.
finally.
Scott Lang's corpse. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, that's fantastic. I do also love just again the Honda Odyssey. Like that's just. I know it's not technically a location, but since it became a fight scene, it is.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
It was on, yeah.
Kyle.
Anything in the void? I mean, come on. We've been to the void with Loki. Now we've been to it with Deadpool and seen it totally different. But the void is just fun, especially in this movie because it allows them to do so many things. I mean, can we talk about the 20th century Fox broken down standard?
Yeah, the logo. Yeah,
the logo. I mean, the void is just fun and it lets them have so much fun with different options and what you can do with it. And I really hope we haven't seen the last of the void in the MCU because it opens the door to a world of possibilities.
It does, definitely. And I love the city scene with all of the Deadpool variant fight scenes and leading up to Camel Ball's Peter.
It's a sparkly circle.
Yeah, I love that whole scene with the bus and everything. That was a fun shooting location there. Okay, here's a fun one for you guys.
When he misses the landing?
Yeah. Here's a fun one, guys. If you were a non-speaking extra on set, what scene would you want to be in? Kat.
I want to be in the scene in the void when all the heroes are just sort of showing everybody and they're panning around and showing them all. That's where I'd want to be.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Lacey?
Right before the fight, you mean?
No.
Or when they?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yes, before the fight. Yes.
Gotcha.
Lacey.
The reason I clarified is because for me it would be the cave, like the lair, like when they wake up and Wolverine's drinking all the liquor and all the 3 or 4 of them come in. Like that's the scene. That honestly, that's the safest scene in the film. Like when you think about it. But yeah, just to sit in the corner and watch Wesley Snipes and Jennifer Garner and that would have been awesome. Yeah.
Kyle.
Oh, this is a toss-up for me because I would have loved to have been there for the fight scene and Cassandra's thing. But it would have been really fun to be in the scene for Wade's birthday, too. With everybody from the original casts and stuff like that. I think that would have been a lot of fun. And, just saying.
I've gone back and forth on this. I actually like the earlier TVA scenes when Wade first shows up, but then he also then gets the costume put on. I think being an extra in the TVA set would have been a lot of fun. A fun thing
no, we're not giving you a TVA pad, Kevin. That has disaster written all over it.
Okay, we've recently added this to the Couch Potato Theater repertoire. As an extra, you're friends with the on-set prop master. They say you can take one thing home from the set. What prop are you taking? Kat, I'm going to start with you.
Come back to me.
All right. Lacey?
Dogpool. I'm taking Dogpool. Don't tell me he's not a prop.
He's not a prop, Lacey, so you can't take Deadpool. He belongs to someone. I'd give you a weekend with him, and that'd be fun. But
okay.
An inanimate object, what would it be?
In that case, I think it would probably have to be something that Gambit had, either the staff or the cards, the playing cards.
Nice. Good call. Kyle.
I'm thinking one of two things. I either want a set of Deadpool swords or I want Headpool.
Headpool.
See, you can't have Headpool if I can't have Dogpool.
You want the Headpool prop. Gotcha. Kat.
The gold pistols.
The nice pool. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I have a set of the first Deadpool pistols. Remember when I bought those at the convention?
Yeah, I do remember that. Lacey, you can't have the moose knuckles. Sorry.
No, I think that we glossed over the fact that I can't have Dogpool, but he can have Headpool. How come Kyle gets Headpool when I can't have Dogpool?
Oh, because Headpool would be a prop and Dogpool would not be one.
Fine. No, I'm sorry. Okay, fine.
Mine would be Elektra's size. That's what I would take. That's what I want.
Her what?
Her size.
Elektra's size.
Her weapons.
Her weapons. the size. Yes.
You mean Psy?
Psy with
There's
her.
two of them. Is it?
It's still pronounced Psy.
Is it Psy?
Yeah.
Multiple.
Pronounce Psy.
Right on.
That's what I want. That'd be fun to take.
Oh, side note, Kevin. You know
Yes.
what I watched yesterday?
Psy.
What's that?
Note?
Teenage
Side
Mutant Ninja Turtles, the first one.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought of you when I was watching that. I'm like, Kevin and I saw this in the theater, I think.
My favorite scene was when he goes, a fellow chucker.
Chuckle, hey.
All right, well, back to Deadpool and Wolverine here. This is the Titanic I'm king of the moment career moment here. Was an actor in this movie at the top of their career, or was anything else in this movie trending, newsworthy, tabloid popular, someone maybe behind the scenes? And I guess you could probably say these three guys right here, Ryan Reynolds, the director, of course, and Mr. Hugh Jackman. They were all over the place, whether or not this, continues or not. All over the place, you could say. What about you, Kyle? Who was having their king of the moment last summer?
Oh, it was definitely those three. I mean, it was the summer of this film, but you got to throw Kevin Feige in there too. He allowed for this. He's the one who basically gave it the green lit, convinced Disney to do it as an R-rated film. Let Ryan Reynolds be Ryan Reynolds. So I think you got to give Kevin Feige a bit of love there as far as King of the World moment.
Lacey.
As far as tabloid stuff, technically this is when Justin Baldoni, whatever, and Blake Lively were in the middle of filming The Last of Us, or It Begins With Us, or Ends With Us, or whatever that movie is.
Ends With Us.
Yeah, so now Baldoni is claiming that Nice Pool was directly based on him, and he's insisting that all the documents relating to Ryan Reynolds and Nice Pool in Deadpool and Wolverine need to be preserved by Marvel for court purposes. So there is some tabloidy stuff happening during the filming of this.
Is it a king of the world moment, though? That's the question.
You said if something was trending on tabloids.
True,
Yeah,
but usually that refers to as like big news making, and this is the first time I've heard of that.
It's actually been a pretty big story.
It's been a pretty big story for the past 6 months. It's been a pretty
I
solid.
haven't heard of it either.
Yes,
but-
pretty solid news thing.
Okay.
Right on.
Well, that does fall into the tabloid thing, definitely. Okay.
But I will say that if you're talking about King of the World moments, that kind of thing, I mean, if you want to talk resurgence, you're going to talk about Wesley Snipes. I mean, he hadn't done a lot he'd done some stuff, but I mean, when he walked
great call
corner, everybody was like, oh, yes.
That's an excellent call, especially when he says he's the only Blade and stuff like that. And, and they can't seem to get that other Blade off the ground.
I still think he'd be a great Blade, but we'll see. Also, I think that I think Jennifer Garner's done a little bit more because she's got her cooking show and the blog and all the mommy stuff, and she hasn't stopped acting. She's been doing things pretty consistently. But I do also, I think that this might have been kind of a pop for Daphne Keane as well.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if she's been doing some Spanish language film in the meantime, but I haven't seen her.
She did The Acolyte. She was on The Acolyte.
Okay, so I haven't seen The Acolyte. That's just, I haven't seen that.
That's a good call, Lacey. I like that. Yeah. Cool. Lacey's laying them all out. I love that.
I mean,
Daphne, Jennifer. Yeah, definitely. That's cool. Any other notable mentions for anyone that might be having a King of the World moment? Anyone else?
What about Channing Tatum finally getting to do Gambit?
Yeah, that's a good call out too. There's rumors that he might get his own film,
and there's also
or at
rumors
least
that Ryan
make an
Reynolds
appearance.
Might appear as Deadpool.
Yeah, or make an appearance in a future, Marvel film that, he may not helm, but it's a good call. Okay, all right. Do you guys have an Aliens Nuke It from Orbit hot take?
Now I'm hungry.
What is your Aliens Nuke It from Orbit hot take?
I have one.
Go ahead, Kyle.
My hot take is as much money as Deadpool and Wolverine made and as fun as it was, it is still not the best of the Deadpool movies. That goes to the best Deadpool movie is still the first Deadpool movie, because that had the magic. Nobody knew what to expect. We weren't really sure. It got pulled off, and it ties into my other hot take. I truly feel that this movie does kind of disrespect the original cast members from Deadpool 1 and 2, specifically Morena Baccarin, Mo Pinder. They just didn't get enough screen time for what.
That's what I said.
And so, those are my two big hot takes.
All right, Lacey.
This might not be a hot take, but I think that as much as I was expecting to miss T.J. Miller, I did not. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's super fun and crazy and whatever, and that's awesome. But the character in Weasel in the first two films was great. But I don't think I didn't miss the character, and that made me kind of rethink his lines from the original two films. Which were basically just, all the alt lines of, his face, and then the alt lines of, because he has kind of like that. I mean, he definitely has a shtick, right? And I think that the one scene that I didn't even think about him until Deadpool introduced Dogpool to Blind Al, when he said the thing about, it's like something about having sex in a pool of gonorrhea or something. I don't remember what it was. Talking about describing the dog. That's the first time in the whole film that I thought of and realized that T.J. Miller's character wasn't there. Because that's usually what he does.
Right. Okay. Kat, do you have a hot take?
Not that I can really think of. I never even thought of T.J. Miller in this movie. I was like, to go with what Lacey said, I'm like, but I mean, I really don't have a hot take. Again, I'm with Kyle as well. The first one was the best. This one was like literally right on its ass, sniffing at you, going, "What kind of dog are you?"
I don't know if this was a hot take, but before we got to this movie, when it comes to the multiverse, I felt like the Marvel films experimenting with it, or the TV series like Loki, I really think we're swinging and missing. I think Loki obviously set the groundwork for the TVA and made this dabble into the multiverse popular or work. But I feel like this is the first film that really made it work, because for me, the Multiverse of Madness with Doctor Strange failed miserably for me. I did not like that movie. I see what it tried to do, but what it did with the people that we got shown, and I don't think it did justice at all to Scarlet Witch. They handled all of that wrong, in my opinion. But I felt that this is the film that really lets you go, okay, now it's okay to announce that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be back. But you know what? He's going to come back as the villain. He's not going to come back as Stark, And I feel like this is the movie that set the precedence for this is how we're going to do the multiverse and allow our characters that we once knew them come back in a different incarnation, or be able to bring other characters we've been wanting to see into the MCU now that finally, Disney owns Fox, come back in and have some fun with it. I don't know if that's a hot take, but that's how I was feeling about it. So there you go. All right. Next, we have what happens next, guys. This is where we talk about if there's been any sequels, if we like them or not, or if there hasn't, what happens next if there is going to be a sequel. What are we going to see with Deadpool and Wolverine? Obviously, there's been rumors, of course, that we will see Deadpool return in maybe one of the Avenger films. I know that everyone is up for doing so. I know we've heard Jackman say he would love to return as well. But how are we going to make this work? What do you want to see in a sequel if we do have these two return for another Deadpool movie? I don't know if that's going to happen. What do you want to see these two characters returning?
You're breaking up again, but I did hear you.
Sorry, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yep. I want Deadpool 4. And then I want
Deadpool
5,
4?
And then Deadpool 6. But I'd love to see them I'd love to see them both appear as cameos in the X-Men movies because they're both X-Men universe. Love to see them both appear in an Avengers movie because they've both been Avengers, well, quote unquote Avengers. I'd love to see them do the Samuel L. Jackson end credit scene stuff. You know, where they're picking people together to do something, whether it happens or not. Just something would be fun like that to see him come back like that. But yeah, Deadpool 5,
Okay.
Deadpool 6.
What about you, Lacey? How do you want to see these guys come back?
I really want Deadpool on screen with Doctor Doom. Like, I want RDJ
With Robert Downey Jr.?
Yeah, I want RDJ v Ryan Reynolds. Like, I think that the sheer amount of charisma on one single scene in one scene, like that's just and the improv of it all would just be nuts. I think that would be amazing.
That would be fun.
Yeah, I don't know what they've got planned moving forward as far as, you know, I know now that he's in. I mean, he's in, right? So that's great, but I don't know how they're going to move him along through the MCU at this point.
That would be some great scenes. I hope we see that.
Right?
Kyle,
Really,
what about
really
you? Because
want that.
you know we're going to be podcasting about it when it happens.
So it's going to be one of two ways. The most logical way is Avengers Secret Wars, which we will have an entity called Battle World, which will be a world of a bunch of meshed up sections of the Marvel multiverse, which a lot of people are speculating this could be how they bring in the X-Men. This is how they you have more Deadpool. But a lot of people have asked for this, and I think if you were Kevin Feige and Ryan Reynolds and you wanted to have some real fun, Deadpool cameos take the place of Stan Lee cameos in Marvel films going.
There you go.
Yes. Love it.
I also really, really, really want a scene between Deadpool and She-Hulk so they can just talk, both of them, just straight to the camera.
Oh, I would love that.
And talk to maybe argue. I don't know about something.
I would love to see She-Hulk return. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved She-Hulk, and I know nobody liked it. Whatever. I like all the things, man. It's hard for me to find
She-Hulk
that I don't like.
Cat was a fan of She-Hulk. I know you.
Yeah, I like She-Hulk.
She-Hulk is fun. And I
Never
think
speak bad of my Tatiana.
Yeah,
yes.
And I think the fact that the last thing she said about the last little comment that she said about, I think it was in the first episode talking about Captain America. I think that comment is a great conversation to bring Deadpool into that conversation. I think that'd be hilarious to just listen to them talk about whether or not Captain America died a virgin. That would be absolutely a hilarious conversation.
I would love to hear an R-rated version of that conversation. Good call, Lacey.
That would be absolutely hilarious.
Great call.
Yeah.
Now, before we wrap things up here and get our final thoughts, I did want to give a shout out to someone else that we should have had here in the void with us. Lee Fillingsness has been very busy as of late, and he wanted to come on, but he couldn't. And he did want to remind us of a line in the film towards the end there, when the whole Deadpool family is together, and we have, of course, Logan hanging out with him. Lee says, "I'm sorry, I can't show up. I'm going to be stuck at work," but says, "Please bring up that they stole the last line from Pretty Woman to end the movie. He rescued him right back." Now, did they steal it, or did they know that they were going to? There was an obvious homage to Pretty Woman.
It was an obvious homage.
No, they totally stole that. Like that is, that's 100% straight out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's funny too is that is one of the movies we're going to be covering this year on Time Warp 1990, because that movie came out. Pretty Woman came out in 1990. So stay tuned for Time Warp. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get our final thoughts here on Deadpool and Wolverine. Kat, I want to start with you. First of all, we had to reschedule this because you weren't available. We weren't going to do this without you. You're the biggest Deadpool fan out there. Show us your tattoos again there, buddy. Look at that. For the listeners, he has one half of Deadpool's face on one forearm and one on the other. And when he puts his arms up, they come together as the full Deadpool mask. It is badass. And you have the Deadpool Stormtrooper tattoo on your right shoulder as well.
Which is me in costume.
Right? That's right. You have your Deadpool.
Deadpool Stormtrooper I've ever seen.
Yeah, I remember that. We it was a Star Wars celebration we went to in costume with him. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was fun.
That was crazy. That standing in that little area with hundreds and hundreds of people surrounding you and me and oh my god, what's her name?
Lacey's laughing at us. I'm not sure why.
What's your friend's name? The cook. She had the twin sister.
Oh, you're talking about Callisto.
Yeah. Callisto, yeah, you, me, and Callisto, and hundreds of people surrounding us trying to get pictures of you and me together because it's like, oh my god, a Deadpool Stormtrooper. Oh my!
Yeah, I remember you kept posing with one of your Deadpool weapons towards my crotchular area. That was.
I did that a few times. Yeah, I had.
Lacey's been trying to say something. She wants to interrupt here. Lacey, what do you got?
Okay, Deadpool Stormtrooper means that he can't make a shot or dodge a shot.
Can't dodge.
There's a lot of irony in that costume. Yes,
because Deadpool notoriously doesn't ever try and get away. He just, and Stormtroopers can't hit the broadside of a barn, and I think that's absolutely hilarious.
Kat, give me your final thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best and 1 being the worst, I give it a 3,486. Absolutely love this movie. As I said earlier with Kyle, number 1 still being the best, but number 2 is right up on its ass, sniffing it, going, what kind of dog are you? Loved the movie, everything about it. I mean, there wasn't anything in this movie that I did not like. That was like, oh my god, come on, how do I pass up this scene? Fast forward, give me the remote, let me fast forward this part. I watched this movie, honestly, downloaded and in video and in the theaters 21 times now. And will I stop? Well, I'm still alive and still breathing, so that's a no. I'll keep watching it. And,
it sounds like to me you got, if you think about it, Kat, you got your ultimate trilogy none of the movies in the trilogy suck.
Absolutely. Not even the PG-13 one was great, and it's just so fun for that one. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, love the movie. I'd love to get together with all 4 of you and watch this in the theater, in a home theater, or something. Kyle,
the best place to do it is at Lacey's house. She's got it set up.
I promise I'm gonna get a rug and some furniture down here. The last time when they were here, it was like I was on the chaise and Kevin, you were on the one of you.
I was on that comfy bean chair thing. Yeah. All right. Any other final thoughts, Kyle? Or I mean, Kat?
Other than loving it, I think that pretty much tops it.
All right. Lacey, final thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine.
Loved it. Loved the bag. Loved the shoes. Love everything. If you get a chance to watch or to listen to the commentary, it's actually really interesting. Ryan and Shawn
Levy.
Shawn. I always mix up Shawn Levy and Shane Black. I know which one's which, and I know which one they are, but the names I mix up. But yeah, so Shawn and Ryan do the commentary. It's really interesting. They talk a lot about it's kind of a perfect combination of how things started and the scripty type of stuff, and then also on-set conversations and little foibles and mishaps and little fun anecdotes from set. So I really it was a good solid commentary.
All right, Kyle, final thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, several years ago when Ryan Reynolds managed to sneak out some supposedly test footage. Yeah. He's finally admitted to it, but
his mom, he threw his mom under the bus.
Yeah. Who would have thought this is where we would have ended up? And if you're a comic book fan, and especially a Marvel fan, this movie gives you 2 of the biggest moments as far as getting Wolverine in the yellow suit and just getting the Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds team up. There are a lot of people who go online and say, "Oh, this movie has saved the MCU studios and all that. It's like, this movie is an outlander as far as that goes. But what the thing about these films are they are probably the truest form of comic book fun that we've had in probably the last 10 years. They aren't ashamed to be what they are. They are true to the character, more than probably any other comic book movie that's been made. Truthfully, the Deadpool films. This one especially because we got one thing we haven't mentioned about here, and it's something I want to make sure we bring up, is the amazing closing credits to this film, with all the behind the scenes footage from
the nice
different
tribute
Fox
to the
films.
Fox X-Men movies.
Yeah.
Paying tribute to where things came from, because without those Fox films, whether you like them or not, we don't have what we have today. And so it starts with Blade and it moves across to those X-Men films and everything else, good, bad, or otherwise. Ryan Reynolds has worked a miracle with getting Deadpool like this, and Deadpool is still to this day, I would say, one of the top 5 most popular comic book characters in existence in the here and the now. Probably only following behind Superman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, and maybe Wolverine possibly, and that's debatable at this point. But and you got to throw Batman in there too. But yeah, this film is one of those films that's just it's got something for everybody in it, and it's thoroughly enjoyable. And I think we're going to look back at this film as far as its place in the MCU, and we're going to see it as the film that maybe sparked some people's interest back into the MCU and gave it enough life to where they could make some decisions that are going to that have future impact on the MCU, including finding a way to bring Robert Downey Jr. back, finding a way, convincing Chris Evans to come back again, and getting the Russos back, and seeing what's going to happen with that, which I will talk about here shortly. But yeah, as far as final thoughts on Deadpool,
it's interesting too. You Kyle, you brought up that not all of the X-Men or X-Men adjacent films, whether it's Fantastic Four, Elektra, whatever, are celebrated. But I kind of feel this movie made okay for people to either return to those and maybe find some more enjoyment in them, or say it's okay, I do like those. And I'm a big fan of the Fantastic Four movies. I love those too. I thought those were fun. And I'll be honest, I love the Green Lantern film, especially in 3D. I like it because it was really the one movie that you had Ryan Reynolds really kind of cook as the lead character and get into it. But I love the fact that he can make fun of it. He shot his own character in it, which was great. Love that he's the best at self-deprecating humor, and he can do it. And I love that. But the tribute was just amazing, and it brought back a lot of good memories of going to the movies and getting out and doing that and being at those midnight screenings. And Deadpool and Wolverine brought people back into the theater, and had fun. And I loved one of the most favorite things I love about this movie that reminded me of a couple of scenes towards the end of Endgame is the reaction to certain scenes, whether him putting his Wolverine putting his mask on and other things. I love that. I love that type of thing. I love seeing people back in the theater doing that, and I felt this movie really helped bring people back into the theater and made the whole Fox and Marvel world and Disney world come together. And it's just a good time to be part of that fandom and go back and revisit those and such. So anyway, guys, this is Deadpool Wolverine Couch Potato Theater. This is the Fandom Podcast Network. We are now on Blue Sky. Make sure you check us out at FanPod Network on Blue Sky, and of course on X, Fandom Podcast Network on Twitter. But of course, please go to YouTube, subscribe to the Fandom Podcast Network on YouTube, and give us some love there. Share us out, subscribe, comment. Love to hear from you. Our master feed for all of our audio podcasts is fpnet.podbean.com. And we're also on Facebook. You can email us at fandompodcastnetwork@gmail.com. My name is Kevin. You can find me on X, Instagram, Threads, Discord, and Letterboxd at Spartan_Phoenix, and on Blue Sky at Spartan Phoenix. Kyle, where can we find you?
Actually, I'm going to ask you to save me for last because I got something else I want to bring up when I tell people where
You got it.
find
You
me.
got it. Lacey, how can we find you?
I am Lacy Pants in all the places, except for Instagram, where I'm the Lacy Pants because I messed up my Lacy Pants account. So I'm Lacy Pants everywhere.
Kat, where can we find you, sir?
I am Facebook and I am on X. X, is that what it is now? X?
X,
Twitter?
yes.
X. Static Cat 1. I don't
Right.
do any of the ones yet, so that's it for me.
All right. And give us some love also, too, on TeePublic, guys. Get some cool Fandom Podcast Network gear there. And if you buy that stuff there, just search Fandom Podcast Network. Kyle.
Okay, can you make me big real quick, just for a second?
Yes, of course we can make you big. Let's
Okay.
do that right now. Okay.
So before I tell everybody where they can find me, I want to just bring up our True Believers podcast, our Marvel podcast, because as we head into the year 2025, we are looking at a big year for Marvel Studios. You have Daredevil Born Again dropping in March. Just a few weeks away, Valentine's Day.
By the way, I think Kat is excited about Daredevil.
Yeah, I think
I think he's demanded me that we put him on that podcast, those podcast episodes. You have Captain America: Brave New World about ready to drop here in just a few weeks. You are going to have Thunderbolts in May. You have Fantastic Four First Steps coming out over the summer. I have a feeling you're going to see one more Marvel show come out, whether it's Ironheart this year or something else. And in 2026, we are looking at a huge year with Avengers Doomsday, probably a few other films. Spider-Man 4 is getting ready to start filming. The MCU is about to make its turnaround. Now, will it be what the whole Infinity Saga was? No, I'm not betting on that, but I think people are going to be in for a very surprising turn for the MCU, and we are going to be covering all here on our True Believers podcast, which covers everything that's happening in the MCU. I had to get that shameless plug in, Kevin.
I'm glad you
True
did.
Believers.
We got a fun year to look ahead towards. Yeah.
We got a busy year. April's going to be a little busy, but no. And of course, too, I am Kyle. You can find me on Twitter and
Especially for you.
and Blue Sky at AKyleW. You can find me on Instagram and Threads at AKyleFandom. And you can also find me just popping around the internet making educated wishes for everybody.
Okay, guys. First of all, Kat, thank you so much for joining us here for Deadpool and Wolverine, buddy. You sound too excited. I guess, yeah, excited. All right. You already let it out.
He's happy, Kat.
Lacey, thank you again.
You're
as
breaking
always.
up on me, Kev.
Sorry about that. There we go. Lacey, thank you. And Kyle, thank you guys so much for joining us here on the Fandom Podcast Network for Couch Potato Theater, Deadpool and Wolverine. Until next time, we will see you on the couch.